Margaret Mihaljevic had a bad feeling about letting Amy walk to Bay Square alone. It was October 27, 1988, and 9-year-old Amy was excited about buying her mother a gift with money she'd saved from her allowance. But something felt wrong to Margaret. Amy was being secretive about why she needed to go shopping, and the timing seemed odd. Against her maternal instincts, Margaret gave permission for the short walk to the nearby shopping center. When Amy didn't return home by dinner time, Margaret realized she should have trusted her intuition. If you're fascinated by true crime mysteries like this, please hit that subscribe button and let us know in the comments what you think about this case. Don't forget to ring the notification bell so you never miss our latest investigations. The phone call that lured Amy away had been so convincing that even a cautious mother couldn't have anticipated the danger. Thursday, October 26, 1988 started as an ordinary day in Bay Village, Ohio. Amy Mihaljevic walked home from Bay Middle School, completed her homework, and played with friends in the neighborhood. The affluent Cleveland suburb was the kind of place where children felt safe walking alone and parents rarely worried about strangers. But that afternoon, Amy received a phone call that would change everything. The caller claimed to know Margaret Mihaljevic, Amy's mother. He told Amy that her mother had just received a promotion at the trading company where she worked and deserved a special gift to celebrate. The man's voice was friendly and convincing. He knew Margaret's name, where she worked, and exactly what to say to appeal to a loving daughter. "Your mother works so hard," the caller told Amy. "She deserves something nice, don't you think? I'm calling several of her co-workers' children to organize a surprise gift. We're meeting tomorrow at Bay Square to pick out something special." The caller gave Amy specific instructions. She should meet him at Bay Square Shopping Center around 3:30 p.m. on Friday. She should bring money to contribute to the gift. And most importantly, she should keep the surprise secret from her mother. Amy was thrilled. Her mother did work hard, and Amy had been saving her allowance for weeks. The idea of participating in a special surprise gift made her feel grown-up and important. She never questioned why a stranger would call her directly or how he had gotten her phone number. When Margaret came home from work that evening, Amy was unusually excited but secretive. She asked several questions about her mother's job and co-workers, fishing for information without revealing the phone call. Margaret noticed her daughter's behavior, but assumed Amy was just curious about adult life. Friday morning, October 27th, Amy woke up eager to execute her secret mission. She counted her allowance money and planned her route to Bay Square Shopping Center. The small plaza was only a few blocks from their home on Linford Drive, an easy walk for an independent 9-year-old. But as the afternoon approached, Margaret began to feel uneasy. Amy was being evasive about her plans, claiming she wanted to go shopping for a surprise, but refusing to explain further. Something in her daughter's manner triggered Margaret's maternal instincts. "Why do you need to go shopping right now?" Margaret asked. "Can't it wait until this weekend when I can drive you?" Amy insisted the trip couldn't wait. She had saved her own money and wanted to buy something special. She promised to stay in the shopping center and return home by dinner time. Her urgency seemed unusual, but Amy was generally responsible and trustworthy. Margaret faced the dilemma every parent knows, balancing a child's growing independence with safety concerns. Bay Square was a familiar, safe destination. Amy had walked there before with friends. The shopping center was small and contained, with good visibility from the street. Against her better judgment, Margaret gave permission. "Be home by 5:30, she told Amy. "And call me if anything feels wrong." Amy hugged her mother and practically skipped out the door, her allowance money tucked safely in her pocket. She was wearing her favorite outfit, acid-wash jeans, a flowered shirt, and a gray jacket. Her long blonde hair was pulled back with a banana clip, a popular style among girls her age. Margaret watched from the window as Amy walked down Linford Drive toward Bay Road. The last image she had of her daughter was Amy turning the corner, excited about her secret mission. By 6 p.m., Margaret's unease had transformed into genuine worry. Amy was always punctual and never missed dinner without calling. Margaret drove to Bay Square Shopping Center, searching the small plaza for any sign of her daughter. The shopping center consisted of only a few stores, a drugstore, a small grocery, and a few specialty shops. Margaret checked each one, asking clerks if they'd seen a 9-year-old girl with blonde hair. No one remembered seeing Amy. Margaret's anxiety escalated as she realized Amy had never reached the shopping center or had left without completing her mysterious shopping mission. She drove the route Amy would have taken, checking side streets and asking neighbors if they'd seen her daughter. At 7:30 p.m., Margaret called the Bay Village Police Department. Officer Robert Tanner took the initial report, noting that Amy was an unusually responsible child who wouldn't normally worry her parents. Within an hour, police cars were patrolling the neighborhood and officers were interviewing Amy's friends and classmates. The initial investigation revealed disturbing information. None of Amy's friends knew about her shopping plans. Her teachers reported that Amy had seemed excited about something at school, but hadn't shared details. Most troubling, no one at Margaret's workplace knew anything about a promotion or gift collection. Detective Mark Spetzel took charge of the case as it became clear that Amy hadn't simply wandered off or forgotten to call home. Someone had deliberately lured her away from safety with a sophisticated deception. The search for Amy Mihaljevic quickly became the largest missing child investigation in Bay Village history. FBI agents joined local police in interviewing hundreds of potential witnesses and following every possible lead. Investigators discovered that Amy had been seen at Bay Square Shopping Center around 3:45 p.m. on Friday afternoon. Witnesses described seeing her talking to a man near the shopping plaza, but descriptions varied. Some said he was in his 30s, others thought he was older. Some remembered him as tall, others as average height. The most reliable witness was a woman who had noticed Amy because she seemed to be waiting for someone. The girl appeared calm and wasn't distressed, suggesting she felt safe with whoever had contacted her. This detail supported the theory that Amy had been lured by someone who had gained her trust through the phone call. Detective Spetzel's investigation revealed the sophisticated nature of the deception. The caller had known specific details about Margaret's employment and had used that information to establish credibility with Amy. This suggested the perpetrator had conducted surveillance or research on the Mihaljevic family before making contact. Phone records from the Mihaljevic home showed no record of the Thursday call, indicating the caller had likely blocked the number or called from a payphone. In 1988, call tracing technology was limited and many phones didn't have caller ID systems. If this case is keeping you on the edge of your seat, please give this video a like and let us know what you think happened to Amy. Your engagement helps us bring more of these important stories to light. On February 8, 1989, a jogger discovered human remains in a remote field in rural Ashland County, Ohio, approximately 50 miles from Bay Village. The body was that of a young girl, and dental records confirmed what investigators feared. They had found Amy Mihaljevic. The medical examiner's report revealed that Amy had been stabbed multiple times and had likely been killed shortly after her disappearance. Her body had been wrapped in a homemade curtain and covered with a horse blanket, then concealed in an area accessible only by someone familiar with the remote location. Physical evidence collected from the crime scene included fibers from the killer's clothing, hair samples, and other trace materials. In 1989, DNA testing was in its infancy, but investigators carefully preserved all evidence for future analysis. The discovery location provided crucial insights into the perpetrator's behavior. The remote field was not visible from any roads and required specific knowledge of the area. The killer had either lived in the region or had scouted locations in advance. The careful wrapping and concealment of the body suggested someone who wanted to delay discovery while also showing an unusual concern for the victim's dignity. Margaret Mihaljevic's worst fears had been confirmed, but the investigation was far from over. Detective Spetzel was determined to find the person who had exploited a child's love for her mother to commit murder. The Amy Mihaljevic case became an obsession for investigators and a source of endless guilt for Margaret. Advanced DNA testing in the 1990s and 2000s provided new leads, but no definitive answers. The genetic profile recovered from evidence didn't match any known suspects or criminals in databases. Detective Phil Torsney inherited the case in the 2000s and applied fresh investigative techniques to decades-old evidence. He re-interviewed witnesses, utilized geographic profiling, and consulted with FBI behavioral analysts to develop a more detailed suspect profile. The investigation revealed disturbing patterns suggesting Amy's killer had contacted other children in the Cleveland area around the same time. Several families reported receiving similar phone calls from men claiming to organize surprise gifts or special events. Most parents had refused permission or the children had been too suspicious to cooperate, but the calls indicated a systematic approach to finding vulnerable targets. Modern investigators believe Amy's killer was likely a local resident who had observed the Mihaljevic family's routines and researched Margaret's employment. The sophistication of the phone call deception suggested someone with above-average intelligence who had planned the crime carefully. Margaret Mihaljevic never recovered from the guilt of giving Amy permission to walk to Bay Square alone. Despite counseling and support from family and friends, she blamed herself for not trusting her maternal instincts on that October afternoon. But Margaret's advocacy for other families transformed her personal tragedy into a force for change. She worked with law enforcement to improve protocols for missing child investigations and supported other parents facing similar nightmares. The Amy Mihaljevic case influenced how police departments respond to missing child reports, emphasizing the importance of immediate action rather than waiting periods. The sophisticated phone call deception became a case study in how predators exploit children's trust and family relationships. Modern child safety education often references Amy's case when teaching children about phone stranger danger and the importance of verifying adult requests through parents. The tragedy highlighted how predators could use telephone communication to establish false trust and manipulate children's emotions. Detective agencies continue working on Amy's case using advancing forensic technologies. Genetic genealogy techniques that have solved other cold cases offer new hope for identifying her killer. The evidence preserved from 1989 may still hold the key to justice. Amy's story serves as a reminder that maternal instincts often detect dangers that logical analysis might miss. Margaret's bad feeling about that Friday afternoon was warranted, but no parent should blame themselves for trusting their child in what appeared to be a safe situation. Bay Village installed additional security measures at public spaces and implemented community watch programs following Amy's disappearance. The case transformed how the affluent suburb viewed child safety, ending the naive assumption that wealth and nice neighborhoods provide automatic protection. 36 years later, Amy Mihaljevic's killer has never been identified, but her memory continues to protect other children through improved safety education, investigation protocols, and parental awareness. A 9-year-old girl's trust was exploited by evil, but her legacy helps ensure fewer children face similar dangers. Amy's story reminds us to trust our instincts and teach our children that real surprises don't require secrecy from parents. If this case moved you, please subscribe to our channel for more stories where communities refuse to let victims be forgotten. Leave a comment sharing your thoughts, and don't forget to like this video to help us reach more people with these important stories. Viewer discretion was advised for this content covering themes of child abduction and murder. All case information is sourced from official police reports and FBI documentation. Visual recreations are AI-generated for educational purposes only.